A Single by Choice Guide. Chapter 3. A Single by Choice Guide. Single by Choice 1. I love to be alone. I never found a companion that was so companionable as solitude. We are for the most part more lonely when we go abroad among men than when we stay in our chambers. Henry David Thoreau, Walden. It's better to be single than to be in a half-assed relationship. I don't have the emotional capacity or need to be connected to someone else exclusively. The funny thing about people being single is that almost no one believes that a person chooses to live like this. People like to imply that if you're single, you desperately want to be in a relationship or there is something wrong with you. Psychologically healthy confirmed bachelors or eternal single people usually have any one or several of the following. Always horny, need space to masturbate in peace. Intense interest or interests. Artistic work, creative work. Activism, social cause. Love their work. Religious. Raising children. Independent spirit. Passionate spirit, want to dance through life. Want to travel. Gay in a straight small town. Bohemian, unconventional lifestyle. Hedonistic pursuits. Never found happiness in past relationships. Back in my day, it was kind of shameful to be a single guy after the age of 25. Most people thought you were a drunk, closet gay, or irresponsible in a loser kind of way. Nowadays, with the MGTOWs, men going their own way, the incels, involuntary celibacy, the red and black pilled guys, there is no shame in living as a single guy. Porn is easily available for free online. I don't know how the free downloading porn sites are since X-Hamster got rid of their free downloads, but there is a site in India where you can download all the free porn you want at nessaporn.com. Guys, don't feel ashamed of implying that I can masturbate whenever I want. I don't need a woman for a relationship. Don't need to talk or cuddle or any of that stuff. Some people do not want to be loved. It goes against intuition, but it's true. Being loved implies loving back. There are footloose and fancy-free loners or adventurers out there. Our old-time cowboys were mostly a bunch of single men on the frontier. I was brought up around men. My father owned a meat store, which is a macho place. I had 3 brothers. Combine them with their friends and my friends and you got a bunch of guys. You can grow up without emotional depth if you choose that lifestyle. I know a guy who's into his work and his dogs. He felt society is telling him to be in a relationship, but he never felt it within himself. How many awkward relationships have many of us been in? When I was in military college, a couple of us used to go out looking for girls at the local bars. We used to ask some of the other guys if they wanted to go out with us. Almost no one ever did. You had 400 guys and no girls cooped up in this place, and the guys were still so nerdy and scared that they didn't want to go around trying to meet girls. Most of them got married after graduation, but I'm sure they were almost all half-assed marriages without intimacy. Whether you marry or not, most guys are loners anyway. It's the culture. It's just that nowadays, guys are saying I'm not going to waste my money or time on a relationship. I will live single without shame. Single by choice 2. I rarely see soulmate love relationships. To me, most marriages are social caricatures. They're done for reasons other than love. Most people are alone in relationships and that's how they live. They're a couple to the outside world, but in the house they're 2 loners or average friends sharing the same space. That's how I see it. My proof is in looking at people. I don't intuitively sense great love between most husbands and wives. If somebody has let themselves go to be physically unappealing, overweight, I know that if they were getting great love they wouldn't look like all those frumpy middle-aged people around, so to me it's a big illusion of happy marriages. There's a huge taboo against living a rich life as a single person. We have this brainwashed view that you can't be happy as a single person, even though many people are. It's partially due to advertising. Married couples with children are much better consumers than single people. Every second movie and TV show is about getting your guy or girl in the end and setting off into the sunset, but nobody ever tells you that it's okay to be single if you want. Or what about all those half-assed, lukewarm, or failing marriages out there? One thing is certain. If you go looking for books, websites, or articles celebrating the single life, you're not going to find very many. It's just not cool to admit you're single and you like it. We're brought up to believe that marriage is the key to happiness. I was brought up with the Bible. It's all about getting married right from Genesis. Then God tells Moses to tell his followers to be fruitful and multiply. We live in a society where marriage and family are indoctrinated into us as the elixir to life from a young age. Yet I look at all the artists, bohemians, misfits, and plain, all-around guys and even some girls I've known, and see a lot of people who were meant to be alone, want to be alone, or simply do not have either the temperament, patience, or faculties to be in a monogamous relationship. Many of these people are very sociable, great friends and fun to be with, but they have no rational or emotional reason to want to be connected to someone exclusively. 50 years ago, if you weren't married, you were considered odd or sad. Nowadays, many people try a first marriage, but after it fails they feel freer to be who they really are and do not get into another relationship. The cost is too high for a lot of people, to be on call to someone else's emotions and needs all the time, especially someone who likes to gamble, drink, hire hookers or whatever. Some people are simply always angry or depressed. What is a relationship going to do for them? There's no perfect life on either side. Most married couples do not have a close, intimate soulmate relationship. Many single people love their lives, but they get lonely here and there too. If they go for a fling, they often get bored of their companion after a week or so. Some people don't want the hassle of being accountable to anyone else. If you go back to the Thornbirds, you got the guy Arnie who marries Maggie, but he's more interested in cutting cane, hanging out with the boys, trying to prove he's a real man, until Maggie finally gets tired of his one-dimensional macho ways and leaves him. Then when Archbishop Ralph, Richard Chamberlain, gives into his feelings, makes love to Maggie and goes back to Rome telling the cardinal he has broken all his vows and loved a woman, the cardinal says that's really a good thing because it shows he has the humility to love another person. Then goes into his little tirade about some of us being too arrogant, too proud to open ourselves up enough to love another person. We live in our own bubbles of self-importance and self-centeredness and think we're too good for the mere mortals of the human race. I thought this was a pretty good rationale for why many people don't openly love others. In the book, they stated it as the conflict between love and ambition for men, which is true to some extent, but I think it's more primal. We are who we are the way we were born. To live like this at the expense of everything else might be a good thing to the free individual, but it shuts other people out, puts you at the center of your own fantasy world, and that's it. Mere mortals know they're imperfect people just trying to go through life. Narcissists don't even want to take a chance on love lest it disrupt the perfect little fantasy worlds they live in. Most of us get lonely at one time or another, but at the same time we don't want to share our lives with another person in a deep, all-encompassing, profound way, even though some of us do, and the mainstream population tries to make the singles feel weird if they don't bow down to monogamous love. But many people in the modern world love themselves to the extent that they want to live free, exploratory lives. Therefore, the need for intimacy with one exclusive other person in a relationship is not the be-all, end-all to life. Many people live great lives as singles who have several friends, a casual lover or two, and a pet or two, and they live better lives than a lot of married people. Single by choice 3. A good wife is good, but the best wife is not so good as no wife at all. Thomas Hardy. Music is my mistress and she plays second fiddle to no one. Duke Ellington. The only victory in love is flight. Napoleon Bonaparte. Some people have other aphrodisiacs than love to turn their crank. It could be success at a career, artistic expression, booze, drugs, power over others, a hobby, sport, partying, etc. The need for intimacy is not the one defining statement for all of humanity that it was once thought to be. There's more to life than the bliss of a monogamous relationship. Plenty of people of both sexes like sex and a bit of companionship to go along with it, but want to live their own lives unhassled by someone else, in this delusion that everyone on the planet wants to be loved in a loving relationship. Because many don't, the price is too high. They have to give back what they get, and a lot of people are simply too interested in their own lives to include someone else there in a serious, accountable way. Guys are generally straight arrows. Nice guys won't tell you they love you unless they mean it. Only players will. By the same token, nice guys won't tell you they're no good for you unless they mean it. Guys know themselves. If you come across a nice guy and he constantly doesn't respond to your flirtations, he could be gay, self-centered, a happy drunk, an easygoing slob, not monogamous, sincerely not particularly interested in you, or intuitively knows that you're too high maintenance or too prim and proper for him. Some guys weren't meant to be in a traditional love affair. They live to take it easy and have casual relationships here and there. Don't keep chasing these guys. Let them live their lives. Only if they get the angst out of their systems will they become good lovers, if ever. I had a girl or two get mad at me because I didn't take them up on their romantic offers, but if they were smart, they would have known I was trying to save them from hurt, because I knew I had no desire to be in a monogamous relationship. They saw me as a nice guy and didn't realize that not all guys are interested in the typical monogamous relationships. In fact, the percentage is quite high. Up to 50% of all young men don't want monogamy. Of course, it changes when they get older, but a lot of young men just aren't interested. We live in a society where marriage is not as necessary as it was in the olden days for two people to get together and have kids simply to help each other survive, build the house, tend the garden, draw the water. Then later it was a social and religious thing that you had to get married, but now all that's gone. People are marrying later, staying married less, some not even bothering with marriage. Many women are independent, want their own lives and don't want children. When you reach true enlightenment in life, if ever, you're perfectly happy alone by yourself. Love may be nice as an afterthought, but you don't really need it. I've been alone many times in my life and accept my individuality as part of the human condition. You can be alone without being lonely. Many divorced women find a new sense of happiness for the first time being free and single. Don't dread being single for a while if you leave someone. Accept everything in life. Look at it as another phase. I know there's always hope. After I saw the 68-year-old woman with a 25-year-old guy on TV and a bunch of 80-plus-year-old guys with younger chicks, but even if you're alone, so what? We're living in the greatest society in history. Life is great if you want it. I get a lot of joy out of living my life regardless of whether I'm single or attached. I keep living the lifestyle of a hedonist, living out my free time doing things I like to do. Some people choose to stay single because of freedom, ambition, creative work, personality quirks, or they're too nerdy to connect with another person, but the biggest reason is that life is stressful and there will be stress in any except for the most perfect relationship. So the bottom line is that relationships are stressful, and for some people, it's not worth it. They'd just as soon live a hassle-free single life. Single by choice. 4. Just about every self-help book I've ever read touts love as the be-all end-all of life. However, I've known plenty of guys and some girls, some married, some not, who held no strong needs to be loving, give love or be loved by another human being, and to me, there was nothing defective about them. They were as sociable to me face to face as anyone. That's all I can ask for. A dog or cat and casual friends sustain their desire for emotional contact. We're a media culture, brought up in this fast-paced, go-get-them world. I believe this has affected the hearts and souls of many developing young folk and left them in the pursuit of experience and material things to excite and fulfill their inner states rather than love. They might be sexual beings, since that's a big part of this intensity of experience thing, craving more euphoric and varied sensations all the time no matter what. The pursuit of sex is physical without regard for love attached to it. And that's where drugs and booze come into play too, the search for pleasurable feelings. The war cry of the generation of my youth was sex and drugs and rock and roll, and many people lived it to the hilt. Some people settled down and got married, others quit out of the necessity of health or lack of money, most quit because the party moved on to a younger generation with different ideas like rap and sass, but many people still regard their party-hardy days with great fondness. The people who hung out at Studio 54 back in its heyday remember it as a great part of their youths when they were wild and free, and the only reason they're not doing it today is because the social climate has passed. We're living in different, more repressed times where sex can give you a death sentence and drugs can get you thrown in jail for a significant amount of time. The hedonistic lifestyle is the pursuit of experience, leisure, and fun. Then there are the creative types, the artists, writers, inventors, musicians, and scientists who seem to have been born with a strong drive to purge their souls of their inherent energy, which is why they're always obsessed with their work. Beyond this, there's a category of people whom I will call the adrenaline junkies. That's what they live for. When I was in the military, I lived in a house with a couple of guys who lived for rock climbing and motorbikes. It's all they cared about, talked, lived and breathed, spending thousands of dollars on their hobbies. It gave them some kind of thrill or sense of achievement. They could have cared less about romance. Their preference was being out there pursuing their hobbies and taking life easy, which meant drinking almost every night to catch a little buzz, watch a porno flick, then go to sleep. There's a set of tapes floating around out there that I saw on the Vision channel called Quest for Love or something like that, about a dozen of our so-called current mainstream love and sex gurus, and the way they were slinging the bull about the flowery, flowing, poetic nature of love as the be-all and all of life. You could tell it was an act, because in real life, people don't act the way they talked. Life is too pragmatic to be lived through a soft focus lens. They were just saying words that had no relevance to the reality of day-to-day life. Despite all these self-proclaimed gurus touting love as the purpose of life, many people get along fine without loving anyone but themselves, so don't believe everything you hear. Single by choice 5. Some people choose to be single because they've been in relationships before that turned out badly. Some people feel they would not be a good lover in a relationship. Some people feel they're too weird. Some people don't want to be in a monogamous relationship. They want to love whoever they're with in the moment or be in polyamorous relationships. Some people love themselves. To them, it's all about them. This is not evil if you don't try to act like an arrogant jerk around other people. Being self-centered is the normal state of human nature. To be loving, you have to find somebody worthy of it, in your opinion. Some people like to masturbate, which is their main hobby in life. Some people feel like their God gave them a purpose which they're doing. Some artist types feel they have a purpose to release their natural energy no matter what. Some people feel unworthy to be loved. Some people are addicted to something. Some people prefer their own company to being with others. Being single has nothing to do with a person's ability to love. There are single lovers and haters. Some people are single because they feel comfortable the way they are. Some people have impossibly high standards for a lover. Some people are just rotten people who turn other people off. It does not have to be blatant rotten. How about an arrogant, snotty person or someone always complaining? How about an overweight girl blaming everyone but herself for being so fat? A lot of guys fear the loss of freedom. People are afraid of picking someone, then a year later meeting their real soulmate. A lot of guys get rejected when asking a girl out a couple of times, then they're done with the mating game. Girls are brainwashed to have high expectations, but when they don't meet Mr. Wonderful after 20 years, they might be too old to attract one of the regular guys in their neighborhood. There are many people out there who care for no one or nothing but themselves, interested in only their adrenaline and sexual rush for the day, and then they're happy and they could care less about anything else. Some people prefer a lover who comes over 1 or 2 nights a week to service them, then leaves them alone to pursue their lives unfettered. A married person serves this role well. Sex is a necessity, but love isn't. Masturbation is easy, and with all the enhancements like vibrators and porno flicks, many people can get themselves off without the hassles of a partner. Being happy as a single person is not automatic, just like being happy after marriage is not automatic. You have to work at what you want. People sometimes try to put single people down, implying they're weird or something. If somebody gets on your case about being single, don't associate with them, or just tell them one time sternly to mind their own business, then turn the tables on them. Ask them sarcastically, how's your marriage? Is it a red-hot soulmate, torrid love affair, or is it more lukewarm tea? Some people truly prefer their freedom over the hassles of a relationship, so if you come across a cutie single and wonder why she isn't responding to you, maybe she's got a big vibrator at home that does the job without the hassles of having to play the dating game with you, or maybe she's a lipstick letso. There was a book called Living Alone Creatively at hashtag 306.815 at my library, published by iUniverse.com. Singlism/discrimination against singles. The traditional view is that marriage and family are the natural order, and sharing your life with a mate is better than being alone. Statistics say that there are now more single households in America than married households. There are two types of singlism. 1. Social singlism, where people imply that you're an oddball if you're not coupled. This is especially brutal at work if you're surrounded by married people. 2. Practical singlism. Married people get tax breaks. Many venues offer deals for couples, but you never see a deal advertised for singles. There's the view that if you're single and over 40, you somehow failed at life. You either can't find a lover, commit, or are an introverted loner. These are all myths left over from the old era before the year 2000. Women don't need men for economic security anymore. A big survey said most singles over 40 say they're not actively looking for a romantic partner. They're just living their lives. Matrimania is the hype to get married. It's especially brutal on women. You were born as one person. A lot of mating is social indoctrination as opposed to biological inclination. There used to be a big stigma against being single, but it's not so bad now. A lot of married people envy single people. The grass always seems greener on the other side. It's better to be alone than to be with someone you don't really love. Who's anyone to judge anyone else? Chapter 2. A Single Life Website Guide. The Single Life Websites 1. If you type single lifestyle into a search engine, you get swinger websites. If you type single life or singles into a search engine, you get almost all dating websites. There is almost nothing for the single life like you're single, that's your life. Here is some information that can help you without judgment, without assuming you're lonely and want to be with someone. It's very hard to find websites that deal with the single life without implying you need a date or offering some kind of dating service. As usual, most information about the single lifestyle is geared for women. There's nothing much for men. I guess they just assume men are lone wolves anyway by nature, so they don't need help, info, or advice. On MarriedAmerica.org, American Association for Single People. Singlesorganizations.com, was down when I checked. Singlesorganizations.net. Meetup.com/topics/singles. Singlevolunteers.org. aarpmagazine.org/lifestyle/single_women. ag.org/woman/the-single-woman/index.cfm. beingsingelimag.com. belladapaulo.com/singles-papers.htm. bitchmagazine.com. blacktable.com/elder040212.htm, meet the Wimpster. The manipulative asshole. blogs.psychologytoday.com/blog/living-single. Boundless.org, a website for Christian singles. cartoons.talk.com/directory/s/single_lifestyle.asp. christianitytoday.com. christian-single-woman.com. clipmarks.com, singlism and matrimania. crosswalk.com/family/singles. datingish.com/727574447/the-ones-destined-to-be-alone-02/02/. dondon.com/2005/02/first-person-singular.html. The Single Life websites too. dcsingles.com. depaulo.socialpsychology.org, No Shelter for Singles. eMediawire.com, being single is an equal opportunity adventure, not a problem. FamilyLife.com. fccchurch.com/singles. foxnews.com/story/0,293,29628,00.html, single, urban women are heroines in literary genre. goodreads.com/quote/tag/single-life. girl.com. ibethel.org, Single Life Workshop. issc.berkeley.edu/singlestudies. leatherspinsters.com, books about happy, single. lonersonwheels.com. lpsingles.org/single life. The Single Life websites 3. meetup.com/topics/singles. menshealth.com. michaelstone.net/prince.htm, single women more level-headed in search for a mate. more.com, women over 40. nazarene.org/ssm/s_intro.html, single adult ministries. net-burst.net/single/single.htm, help in handling the pressures of being single. news.bbc.co.uk/1/hi/uk/3991981.stm, single men. ourtime.com, online dating site for men and women over 50. psychologytoday.com/blog/living-single. quirkyalone.com. raby.org/singles-by-choice. searchquotes.com/quote/about/single_life. The Single Life websites for. singleagain.com. singlebychoice1.blogspot.com. singlecatholics.com. singledetaion.com. singlegoddess.com, inspiration and empowerment. singlelives.com. singlelovelife.com. singleness.org. singleparentmeet.com. singleroots.com. singlesanddating.com. singlesbechoice.com. singlescenter.com. singlescenter.com/centers/singleestates, singles, the magazine for today's single. singlesnet.com. singlespodcastingnetwork.com. singularcity.com/living-the-single-life. soberansingle.com. socyberty.com/relationships/signs-that-you-are-destined-to-be-and-old-made. sololady.com, your source for single. stephanieklein.blogs.com. susanelizabethphillips.com, novels about single women. suzanneschlossberg.com. swundims.org, Single Women's Alliance Network. thesinglelife.com. thesingellewoman.net. totolistmagazine.com. torontozun.com/lifestyle. ukspurite.com/results.php UKSQ =single lifestyle. unmarried.org, the Alternatives to Marriage Project, Brooklyn, New York. unmarriedpeople.net. womendiary.net. womenzenews.org. wrongplanet.net/post T67972.html, singlism discrimination against the singles. yourtango.com/2008538/single-by-choice.html. yourtango.com/single. Single organization websites. 8ontahetown.com, 8 on the Town, Chicago. activesinglenashville.com, active singles. acupofjoy.org, a cup of joy resource, Ohio. acupofjoy.org/resources.htm, single parent. atlantasinglehikers.com, Atlanta single. beulabeach.org, Beulah Beach. ccisingles.com, confidential Christian. Christiansinglesnet.com, Christian Singles. CoterIESingles.org. CruisingForLove.com, Cruising for Love. daveswebplace.net/ssdusa, Dancearama. dcsinglecatholicpro.org, CAC of Washington. Dinnerat8.com. Dinnerfor6.com, Dinner for Six. Eventsandadventures.com, Portland Singles, Seattle Singles. falconbaptist.com/singled_out_group.htm. fbc-bethlehem.org/csn, Christian Singles. harrimanhikers.org, Harriman Hikers. iglu.com/doug/csac, Catholic Single Adults. impactgrace.com, Impact Singles Group. jewishconnect.com, Trace Chic Events. jugaandmug.org, Jug and Mug Ski Club. lockleftdoor.com, Lock Left Door. lindastambaugh.com. midmesingles.org, Mid, Michigan Christian. nashuasingley.com, Nashua Area Singles. okcadventures.com. OKC Adventures. ourchurch.com/member/h/Hisway, His Way. outdoorchristians.org, Outdoor Christian. PenellaSingles.us, Penella Singles Club. PlaydateSeattle.com, Playdate Seattle. PolarisSail.org, Polaris Sailing Society. SaxKC.com, Singles available for community. SackToSinglesGolf.com, American Singles. SayGourmet.com, Houston. SeataxSingley.org, Seattle, Tacoma Christian. SeattleB.org, Seattle Beginning Experience. SierraClub.org/chapters/Loma Prieta/LPSS, Sierra. SingleChristians.org. SingleEndeavor.com, Single Endeavor. SingleGourmetFlorida.com, The Single Gourmet. SingleGourmet-Metrony.com, Single Gourmet. SingleParents.org. SinglesClub.org, Singles Club of Massachusetts. SinglesDances-NewEngland.com. SinglesCalla.com, Singles Calla. SinglesOrganizations.com. SinglesOver40.com, Singles Over 40. SinglesChuarsofSunnyvale.org. slsingles.org, St. Luke Singles. Sociables.org, The Sociables. SouthBayFunClub.com/home.htm, South Bay. SouthShoreSingles.org, South Shore Singles. SBCN.org, Single Parents Community Network. SquareDancing.com/MetroKC, Metro Singles. SuburbanAdventureClub.com, Suburban Adventure. SumC.org/SLSS, St. Luke Singles Southside. SVLC.us, Single Volunteers of Lake County. SWUndims.org. DeasingLELife.org, The Single Life. DeasingLayNetworkMe.com, The Singles Network. TucsonDesertSingles.org, Tucson Desert. TucsonFun.com. WebSpawner.com/users/skatergirl36/index.html, Christian. WestportSingleSCT.org, Westport Singles. Singles Rights. You need rights for things like fees charged to singles compared to couples, and you need rights from social discrimination. Singles are not allowed entry to some places just because they're single. American Association for Single People. 415A. Harvard St. Glendale, California 91205. Unmarried@earthlink.net. Singlesrights.com. Spinster websites at dmoz-odp.org/society/people/women/spinsters. Leatherspinsters.com, Leather Spinsters, publishing company, offer a variety of resources for the happily unmarried career woman, including an e-zine, newsletter, and information. Spinsterchronicles.wordpress.com, The Spinster Chronicles, the story of a single woman in her 30s traveling through these modern days, sometimes funny, other times serious, always real. Child-free websites. Childfree.com.au, Child-free zone, one Australian child-free couple's story. Childfreebychoice.com, child-free by choice, child-free quotes, blogs, apparel, message board and a list of child-free celebrities. Churchofeuthanasia.org, Church of Euthanasia, a non-profit educational foundation devoted to restoring balance between humans and the remaining species on Earth. PlannedParenthood.org, Planned Parenthood, promotes women's health and well-being, based on respect for each individual's right to make informed, independent decisions about sex, health, and family planning. TheChildFreeLife.com, The Child Free Life, a civil site for those wanting to discuss, talk or rant about the kid-centric world. BabesWithoutBabes.com, Babes Without Babes, a social group for women 35 and older in Edmonton, Alberta who do not have children and who want to connect with other women living the same lifestyle. Gateway-Women.com, Gateway Women, a support group for women childless by any of many possible circumstances. Widow websites at dmoz-odp.org/society/people/widows_and_widowers. Aestheticrealism.org/widowhood_af.htm, how should a widow cope with the loss of her spouse, and Fielding describes the principles she learned from Eli Siegel, the great American poet who founded the education of aesthetic realism. CreativeGrieving.com, Creative Grieving, Elizabeth Berrien is a certified creative grief coach and founder of Soul Widows, a support group for young widows. ForWidowsOnly.com, for widows only, about the book and author. Groups.yahoo.com/group/youngwidows2, Young Widows 2, a sister/brother list to young widows which is a very active support group for women. Groups.yahoo.com/group/youngwidows, Young Widows, discussion group of young women who have lost their husbands. Groups.yahoo.com/group/widowed, widowed, forum/message board for those who have lost a spouse. marywidow.me.uk, Mary Widow, Kate Boydell's online resource for anyone who has lost a partner. modernwidowsclub.com, Modern Widows Club, US-based. nawi.ie, National Association of Widows in Ireland, provides support and help to make new friends, find a new beginning and a life full of social activities. newhope-grief.org, New Hope, encouragement for those who have lost a spouse. rafbf.org/raf-widows, RAF Widows Association, a national charity for men and women who have lost their spouse or partner whilst serving in the RAF at the time of their death or who died within 2 years of leaving the RAF. sarahstent.com/mission/Widows Welfare Association.htm, Widows Welfare Association of India, a website for the welfare of widows in India. Saringspirits.org, Saring Spirits International, community for widowed men and women with understanding, friendship, inspiration, and encouragement. warwidows.org.uk, War Widows Association of Great Britain, the WWA exists to improve the conditions of war widows and their dependents in Great Britain. WIDA.org, WIDA, an active bulletin board for young widowed people, both men and women, across the world. Widow-speak.org, Widow Speak, an online resource for widows. Widow.ie, Widow.ie, Irish online support for widows and widowers, young and older. Widowed.ca, Widowed.ca, an online resource for widows and widowers in Canada, providing information and services needed following the loss of a loved one. Widowedandyoung.org.uk, Way Widowed and Young, a national charity in the UK for men and women aged 50 or under when their partner died. widowedvillage.org, Widowed Village, Saring Spirits, connects peers with each other for friendship and sharing. Widownet.org, Widownet, an information and support resource for and by widows and widowers. Topics covered include grief, bereavement, recovery, and other information helpful to those who have suffered the death of a spouse. widowsrights.org, Widows' Rights International, information and resources aimed at helping widows in developing countries, including news, legal archives, literature, and events listings.